All right, the next 100x crypto. Let's talk about it. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, and we are looking at Bitcoin and its very beautiful uptrend that is happening right now. Looking into the charts, we see that Bitcoin is doing its pump again. We expected this to happen if it held this black line, which it did, and now we want to see it break 108 and then close above around 110. When that happens, we may see some consolidation like this, or we may start a heavier increase in the bull market. Looking at the RSI is at around 50%, right around here, and the purple is crossing over orange. All this is looking very bullish for the entire market, really. Looking into GRT, it is starting to build a little bit more support when you get rid of everything. It's looking a little bit better. This trend line could be right here. However, we do want to see it break this black trend line, which could be decreased a little bit and moved a little bit closer like this. When it breaks that, we can start seeing a push up towards 10 cents, and then eventually want to see it break 12 cents and hold above that 200 EMA before entering fully. QNT, for those of you that didn't pull out at 123, we had that retracement down to 103. Now is a better entry for people who did pull out. Gotta love pulling out. And we are at 108, and I believe we are going to be using the CM Guppy as support. This is no longer liquid water pushing it down. We are considering this green CM Guppy as fire, and starting to get a little bit hot and pushing upwards, as it does not even want to make it to the bottom of this CM Guppy right around here. Looking at the Fibonacci retracement from this high to this low, we are looking at exactly the 618, or roughly exactly right here around 125 was the 618 retracement on that. I believe we're going to start seeing this push up and eventually close over this 125. So if you did not sell, definitely hold your bag, as we are starting to build some support. Looking at the RSI, we have the testing around the 50% mark, and the yellow line coming down. When that gets crossed over by the purple, we will start to see more of an increase. Also keep an eye on the volume down here. We want to see the volume is currently decreasing and the price is increasing, which would be considered divergence on the daily. Getting rid of that, I wanted to bring up compound. Compound is something I've been looking in. The investment opportunity for compound is very, very nice. When you zoom out even further into the weekly, you can see we really just need to get back up to this point around 62 and close, and then the next stop is potentially 141, which is about 3x of your money. Keeping that in mind, we'll zoom. Oh, that's the monthly. I apologize. Weekly looks a little better. Starting to build some support off this black trend line right here. This is now support, a stronger support on this black trend line right there. The volume is something to keep in mind on this. Volume is picking up. This needs a lot of volume to start pushing this up exponentially. We are still pretty far away from the 200 EMA. What you could also do on this is you could invert the scale. And when you're looking at that, if you're bearish or bullish, right now when we're looking at this, we can see the trend line for this. It is not breaking this point, which is extremely bullish. If you were looking at this as a bullish formation, you would say, oh, that's bearish, right? This has a higher potential to drop. But when we flip it back to normal, it has a higher potential to increase in price. Volume is picking up. Everything is looking very good for compound. It's not financial advice, but now would be a pretty good time to enter. Another thing to keep in mind is you can see it breaking this downward trend line. May we see something with a retest? Possibly. But you see when we broke this downward trend line, it pushed up very nicely. This was about 26% increase for our scalp trade in the signal channel. But again, compound is looking very, very good. Again, bullish candles, bullish volume. It's picking up double green candles. We saw double green candles right here. We saw that continuation happen. So I keep recommending compound. Most of my bags right now are XRP Quant Compound. And I think I have XYO, which actually I'll bring up right now. XYO does not look the best overall. However, it is underneath the 200 EMA. Usually we get that dip down below the 200 EMA, a pop over, consolidation, a dip again. But when we're looking at this, oh man, that looks ugly. When we're looking at this, we're looking at this black trend line to be support. We are forming this downward wedge in between these two black trend lines. And we want to see this push up. When it breaks this downward trend line, you're going to start seeing some bullish momentum, similar to like back when we saw in December when it had that major pump. But the next major stop would be right around here, around 2 cents, and being 0.04 cents for that high. But overall, it's got a long way to run, all the way up to 7 cents from its current evaluation, which is around 1 cent. So 6x on that. Pretty good formation happening. XYO does always look a little wonky whenever it's breaking out. It always kind of drags it out, which is very good because you want a lot of consolidation before the pop. Moving over to XRP. XRP is probably one of the most stable cryptocurrencies at the moment. When everything's dropping massively, XRP is just consolidating nicely. Again, we are entering June. There's supposed to be some important information in June. With Bitcoin pushing upwards, we can expect XRP to start taking off. And when you compare XRP to Bitcoin, Bitcoin just keeps pumping. But I want you to keep in mind, look at Bitcoin back when I was trading it back in 2012 or so. I was taught about Bitcoin here when Bitcoin was $250. You're like, that's a lot of money, but Bitcoin was almost nothing beyond this point. XRP is $2 right now. The fact that it could not reach $250 is out of my mind because Bitcoin pushed from absolutely nothing up to 100,000. XRP is going to be a massive player within the financial institutions, moving money around banks. When everything starts getting tokenized, you're going to start seeing a chart similar to this. You had, I believe I was actually buying around 139 on Bitcoin. That was when I bought my first Bitcoin. And $139 seemed like a lot. My father said, don't do it, son. And that's what I had on me. I bought some Bitcoin. And as you see, it pushed all the way up to around $20,000. And that was over the time frame of 15, 16, 17, and 2018. That is the bull market that we saw. So we could expect XRP to be somewhere in this area before its first major, I guess it did have a couple 1,000% increase on XRP, but the big major potential from $2 up to 100, up to 1,000, anything is really possible in the cryptocurrency market. Moving forward, we see, where am I? See that we are right here, and we are at all-time highs. When we hold above this area at 113, it's got a lot of room to run, which brings me back to XRP. $2.19. You will probably never see $2.19 again for XRP. Definitely stack your bags. I cannot recommend it enough to stack your bags for XRP. Before we get to XCN, I want to bring up Tornado. Still holding this black trend line, still building above the 200 EMA. It's also looking very bullish. I recommend getting on MEXC. The reference links are in the links below for the lowest trading fee platform. But they trade Tornado Cash, which washes Bitcoin. People want to remain anonymous, especially the people who are massive corporations, want to keep their money anonymous, and Tornado Cash can do that for them. So I highly recommend Tornado Cash as well. TOSHI, we talked about it the other day, but not a whole bunch. I did make a short on it, and it is starting to build a little bit of momentum. Keep in mind it's 0.00054 at the moment. You could enter if you wanted to. Keeping in mind that we have this downtrend that we broke, we are trying to hold a little bit of support, and we can see this push up towards this red trend line. It's a little bit riskier. It is a meme coin, but that push up is around 24%. With Bitcoin pushing up, that is highly possible to reach that. If it reaches its next high, would be around a 61% increase. The reason I kind of flow more towards Compound instead of the meme coins is Compound actually is a legitimate company. It's not just some joke coin. And to get that 61% from entering here, that is right here at $88. If we are hitting, $88. If we are hitting the 618 retracement, we are looking at around 84%. So there is more potential in Compound. However, meme coins do have a tendency to just take off like no other. But I would recommend Compound over TOSHI at the moment. However, TOSHI is building a nice candle just for the meantime. Now moving into XCN, everybody's favorite. This is looking better and better by the days. We have the downward wedge. We did a false bear breakout. We are pushing back up over the 200 EMA. If it can get up above this black bar right here and hold above that 200 EMA, we could potentially be pushing towards this downward trend line. And when it breaks this bar, we are going to see exponential gains, as I believe this is still a major cup and handle form pattern formation. And looking at the bigger picture, removing the BS, you can see that it does have a very long way to go. From here to here is about 667%. I believe the all-time high is actually at 18 cents, somewhere around here, which is 1,267%. If you missed this pop, which we did not, if you have been in my channel, it was about 1,000%. Actually, I believe I got around 2,000%, starting at a lower point, a little bit hard to prove on the daily chart. But XCN is looking phenomenal, as it is the first time. Looking at this 200 EMA on the daily, when we popped up, we touched it once. We got a little bit of support over it, had that consolidation while I was trying to maintain support over the 200 EMA, maintain that support, had the major push, came back down to test it. It is support, obviously, pushed up, and then here we are testing it a second time. With this second test, we can start seeing some very bullish movement, as long as it does not just immediately crash over that. I doubt that XCN is going to be crashing. When you're looking at the RSI on the daily, it is a little bit oversold. We never really saw a major oversell, like even right here in this area around June, July of 2024. That major sell area, it was just consolidation. It had the pop back to around the 50% mark, pushed back down, did not break anything, and had its consolidation along the way. When we got in this area around the oversold mark, you can see right here on the chart, it was oversold and immediate push up to 0.02 from 0.007. Now within its consolidation, we should be seeing this 200 EMA hold as support and push XCN up exponentially. So again, XCN, XRP, Compound, and Quant are the ones that I am mainly looking at. Quant is building its support. It's going to be testing upwards. I believe we could see a retracement looking at Fibonacci just from this top to this bottom, 618 being 116 level. So that's kind of it for today. I hope this helps. If you guys are not on my Signal channel, I definitely recommend joining or one-on-one training. All reference links are in the link below. Free grass airdrop tokens, which are at $2, currently happen this next month, I believe. And it's just free money. So that's kind of it for today. I hope you guys enjoy. Good luck and have fun with it.